Hey, this is Grant.
And this is Andrew from Unleash the Archers.
And you were watching Loudwire.
Well, I listened to a lot of Nirvana when I was a kid, and I think that was kind of where it took off. With the I found them to be just like, it was heavier than most stuff I listened to, but also super melodic. Most of the stuff I started with was kind of like pop rock, Foo Fighters, and Nirvana when I was like 10 or 11. How about you?
Yeah, I grew up like a punk kid. So the first kind of songs and stuff I started learning was, it's not very metal, but it was like Blink-182.
Hell yeah.
I think the first riff I ever learned was from Damn It,
Yeah, I was kind of, went the same way too.
Well, that was like, like when I was 12.
Yeah, most of it started off with like, we were kids in the 90s, and then nu metal was a huge thing. So it's like I was listening to like, Linkin Park and Korn and all that kind of stuff. Limp Bizkit.
Yeah,
and it really changed the first time I heard Iron Maiden.
Yeah, same.
That was kind of when it changed, I think, for both of us.
Dude, I came home from school one day, and I don't know if you remember Much More Music.
Oh, yeah.
It was on TV, and they were playing Iron Maiden's Rock in Rio.
Oh,
2001, and I was like, that was the first time I'd seen Iron Maiden, heard Iron Maiden, and it completely changed.
And it was like new at the time, like that had come back, and that was like their reunion thing.
Yeah.
But it was that was a life-changing concert, and we used to play those songs like in one of our first bands. So yeah, then I think everything kind of changed with the melodic metal stuff when I first heard like Rhapsody, and the song was Emerald Sword, and I was just like, holy crap, this is epic. And it was like still like Iron Maiden kind of that sound, but introduced a lot more like cinematic themes, way more like virtuoso guitar playing. And then like there was Rhapsody and Dragon Force were the first ones, and it was I probably screwed that up, but
which is funny.
It's been a while.
Now we've toured with both those bands.
Yeah,
and that got us started.
Yeah, that was a really cool experience getting to tour with those guys and like hang out with them. I did like sweeping and like was always a struggle at first, and then it wasn't, because I just kept doing it a lot. You just keep everything's a struggle at first, so you just have to keep doing it and keep doing it.
Yeah, I think the tough thing once we started to record was just like playing really cleanly.
Yeah.
Once you're under the microscope, everything's...
When you're just jamming and you're like, whatever, it sounds fine, but then suddenly it's like you can hear everything that you do wrong, and you're like, oh shit, I need to work now.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of pinpoint in all those little things. That was kind of like the thing I really wanted to work on the most. Getting that super fast, tight stuff, the Yngwie and the Racer X kind of stuff.
Yeah, I remember listening to a lot of Racer X and Yngwie Malmsteen in high school.
Yeah, that kind of changed things, starting to do that. Doing all that kind of stuff, and then the first Yngwie song was like... Yeah, they'll like, Far Beyond the Sun and whatnot.
The first solo I ever learned that I really remember learning that like meant a lot to me was Crazy Train Randy Rhoads. You know, the whole... Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds a lot harder than it is. Like when you're like 12 and you learn that, it's like, oh, I can tap.
I know. That was definitely me. Like, I think eruption. Oh, it's been a while since I played all these.
Yeah,
But yeah, you got the picture,
Yeah,
right?
I think tapping as a young guitar player is one of those things that it's like easy to learn and it makes you sound better than you are.
Yeah. I still even say that now. It's like I'm teaching like my friends, he's like kind of like licks. And they're like, "Oh man, it's so crazy and so fast." It's like it's just tapping makes it easier
Yeah.
cuz you're just like, "Well, I can use this finger instead of like what was it, the Rusty Cooley, like you're doing like full 3-string things, and it's that's actually harder."
So as you can see, we switched to 6-string guitars. All the older UTA material is all in 6-string drop D. So we're going to talk about some of the first riffs we wrote for Unleash the Archers. For myself, it would probably have to be Dream Crusher from our album Time Stands Still. I remember I was just playing on acoustic Angra's Spread Your Fire. I was just playing those kind of chords, and I was like, oh, I kind of like the sound of that. So I kind of switched it to... So it ended up being, I think I was just on acoustic, so I was just going... Oh, I kind of like that progression, and it slowly evolved into I think that was my first riff for UTA.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, so I came into the band in about late 2013, and a lot of the stuff that I brought in, I'd already written in me and Grant's old band together.
Right.
So some of the songs we had done together in our old band. So Hail of the Tide was one of those, which was probably written in like 2009.
I messed up the end of that, but it's been a while.
Yeah, we don't play that one much anymore. I think the first song I wrote strictly for UTA was Test Your Metal. That was like the beginning of the quick bangers.
Yeah.
It was like Dawn of Ages was kind of a quick banger, and then we like refined the quick banger, and that was the first one.
Yeah, now we have to have one on each album.
All right.
I think one of my favorite riffs in UTA is like, it's a pretty deep cut B-side. We'll see if I remember how to play it here. It's from a song called Crypt, and it's the verse riff.
Oh, that is a deep cut.
Yeah, I always loved that.
Yeah.
The groove on that too, like what Scott did with those kick patterns.
My favorite riff is kind of a deep cut too. It's from Apex, the intro to False Walls. I always like that one. It's just
Yeah,
kind of
it's a
like,
tastier
it's got like a Queensryche kind of feel to it. And then, you know, there's a lot on the new album too, which this video might be out. The album might be out when this video's out, but I'm not going to play them right now.
Yeah, no, I think we can go over some of those once we switch guitars. So we have a new album coming out August 21st.
There's the middle riff in The Wind That Shapes the Land, which I just really like. It's kind of different. The other one that I really like, at least, is the Soulbound riff. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. Some of, I think my favorite section as far as riffs goes is from Afterlife, the last track in the album.
Yeah.
The first intro and then like the harsh vocal verse, those two riffs, so
Finger twisters.
yeah. I gotta do vocals of that.
I know, I was watching you jam yesterday, I'm like, oh, poor Grant.